We usually treat the universe as if it belongs to two different worlds. In one, we use science to track the mechanics of physical facts. In the other, we use theology to explore the nature of faith. But ancient records describe a master of both worlds, a figure living before the Great Flood who served his people as their primary astronomer, their first civil engineer, and their leading prophet. The Islamic tradition identifies this figure as the prophet Idris, describing him as a man of truth and a communicator of unseen news. In the Judeo-Christian tradition, this same figure appears as the patriarch Enoch, a man so attuned to the divine that the book of Genesis claims he walked with God. To ancient Greeks and Egyptians, he was Hermes Trismegistus, the father of alchemy and the source of principles that would eventually underpin early chemistry. By combining these cultural identities, we find a single foundational polymath. He operated on the belief that the only way to understand the Creator was to master the complex mechanics of the creation itself. These traditions place his origin in the cradle of human civilization, the Mesopotamian city of Babylon. Idris is credited with initiating a fundamental shift in how humans store knowledge. He was the first to use the pen, transforming spoken wisdom into a permanent record that could survive the passage of time. His work extended into physical survival. He replaced raw animal skins with engineered sewn garments and developed advanced weapons to protect his community from external threats. He brought mathematical logic to human commerce by inventing standardized weights and measures. This allowed disparate groups of people to agree on the value of goods using a single objective scale. He applied this logic to the land itself, drafting the first formal rules for city design. These principles of urban planning allowed his followers to establish 88 individual cities, the first organized civilizations of man. Idris did more than preach abstract morality to a primitive society. He designed the physical infrastructure, the early writing, the sewn clothing, and the urban planning necessary for civilization to exist in the first place. Once he organized the earth, he turned his focus to the sky. Historical accounts describe him as the earliest recorded practitioner of astronomy, mapping the stars to find the logic hidden in their movements. Central to this legacy is the Emerald Tablet, an ancient text explaining universal laws. It describes a mirror between heaven and earth, how subtle energetic forces interact with gross physical matter. The same laws governing sunlight govern the stones beneath our feet. This mastery of earthly and heavenly laws leads to a detail shared by every major tradition. At the end of his life, he did not experience a standard physical death. The biblical record shows that Enoch lived for exactly 365 years, a lifespan that mirrors a full solar cycle before God took him away. The Islamic record mirrors this, stating Idris was raised to a high place in the heavens, where he remained, bypassing the grave to tour the realms of paradise. In these accounts, his scientific mastery of the heavens was so total that the records conclude his life with a physical ascension into the heavens. The legacy of Idris, Enoch, and Hermes points to a lost way of thinking. It represents a time when rigorous curiosity and deep devotion were the same thing. This is the core of the principle, as above, so below. It is the observation that the logic found in the smallest particles of matter is mirrored in the vast movements of the solar system. We currently live in an era where we are told that scientific inquiry is the enemy of faith, forcing a choice between the observable and the divine. But for the architect of the first cities, there was no choice to make. To him, learning the laws of the physical universe was not a rejection of God, it was the most sincere way to worship him.